Let's cut to the chase. You're here because you felt it, the fake smiles, the forced politeness, the compliments that feel more like jabs. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? And let me tell you, it's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Deception, even the subtle kind, is like a slow-acting poison. It doesn't kill you outright, but it drains your energy, eats away at your self-esteem, and keeps you stuck in toxic cycles. So why does this matter? Because recognizing these signs and acting on them is critical. Ignoring them means you'll continue investing time and emotion into people who are secretly tearing you down. You deserve better. Now, let me introduce you to a powerful ally in this battle: Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest emperors and Stoics, knew this struggle well. Despite his wisdom and leadership, many people despised him. Some plotted against him, even close allies betrayed him. But Marcus didn't crumble under their disdain. He wrote in Meditations, "You will earn a bad reputation through good deeds." What does that mean for us? It means no matter how kind, hardworking, or virtuous you are, some people will hate you, not because of what you've done, but because of who they are, their insecurities, their jealousy, their fears. You can't control their feelings, but you can control how you respond. And the first step is to spot the signs they're hiding behind. This brings us back to you and why you're here. You're ready to stop wasting your time on people who don't deserve it. You want clarity, and I'm here to help you find it. Today, we'll expose 7 subtle signs that someone doesn't like you, but is too cowardly to admit it. These aren't just random observations. They're based on human behavior and the wisdom of centuries-old philosophy. So buckle up. This is gonna get real. If this hits home for you, go ahead and subscribe. Join me on this journey of cutting through the BS and reclaiming your energy. Because life's too short to surround yourself with people who can't see your worth. Now let's dive into the first sign. 1. They always joke about your flaws. I might come across as a little harsh here, but that's because I've been through it myself. I know exactly what it feels like to be on the receiving end of their cheap jokes, the ones from people you think are friends, colleagues, or someone you share a connection with. They're not joking with you, they're joking at you. On the surface, it seems harmless, but deep down, they don't respect you. Yes, they hide their disdain behind so-called humor. They throw out funny comments that subtly tear you down. "Oh, that outfit? Bold choice." Or, "Wow, that project actually turned out okay for you." They want you to laugh along while they slowly make you question your choices, your confidence, and even your worth. Let's call them what they are: selfish, petty, insecure people. The kind who don't know much about anything but still act like they're experts on everything. Inside, they're filled with garbage, bitterness, and jealousy. Instead of dealing with their own mess, they poke at others, like you, because it's easier for them to drag someone down than to lift themselves up. Here's the truth. You weren't put on this earth to be their punchline. You're not here to play along with their pathetic attempts to feel superior. If someone's jokes leave you feeling small, uncomfortable, or questioning yourself, it's time to stop laughing and start confronting. Next time they say, "I'm just kidding," look them in the eye and say, "But why would you joke about that?" Watch them squirm. Some might apologize, others will double down. Either way, you'll see their true colors. And remember this: a real friend, a genuine connection, doesn't need to put you down to feel better. You deserve relationships that build you up, not ones that leave you second-guessing yourself. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anyone who thinks your life is their playground. 2. They give compliments that feel like insults. You know those compliments that leave you pausing, thinking, "Wait, was that supposed to make me feel good?" Yeah, that's not a compliment. It's an insult dressed up in a pretty package. And here's the kicker: they want you to doubt yourself. I've been there. I remember working hard on a project I was proud of. After pouring hours into it, I shared it with someone I trusted, hoping for support. Their response? A smirk and, "Wow, this is actually pretty good for someone like you." It hit like a slap. On the surface, it sounded positive, but those last 4 words twisted the knife. For someone like you? What does that even mean? That I'm not supposed to be capable of doing good work? These backhanded compliments are never about lifting you up. They're subtle power plays. designed to keep you questioning your worth while they maintain control. It's a way for them to assert, "You're trying, but you'll never be as good as me." And here's the ugly truth. People who use backhanded compliments are often insecure themselves. They see your potential and it terrifies them. So instead of celebrating your growth, they try to put you back in your place beneath them. Let me tell you something. You don't owe anyone the courtesy of pretending you're okay with their disguised hostility. The next time someone throws a compliment that stings, stop and ask, "What do you mean by that?" Watch how quickly they fumble. You don't need to play their game. Here's the deeper message. A real friend, a genuine ally, doesn't need to undermine you to feel secure. They celebrate your wins, they lift you higher, and they never lace their kindness with poison. You deserve that kind of support. So if someone keeps slipping veiled insults into their compliments, don't internalize it. Don't let their words define you. Their insecurity says everything about them and nothing about you. Stand tall, call them out if you're ready, or simply walk away. Life's too short to waste on people who can't celebrate you without tearing you down. 3. They subtly exclude you from plans. Let's get real. Being left out hurts, even when it's disguised as an accident. They forget to invite you to dinner, don't tag you in the group chat, or conveniently assume you're too busy. Sound familiar? They'll sugarcoat it with excuses. "Oh, it was last minute," or "We thought you wouldn't be interested." But let's not kid ourselves. If they wanted you there, you would have known. I've felt this sting before. I remember scrolling through my feed, seeing photos of friends laughing at an event I would have loved to attend, an event I didn't even know was happening. When I casually brought it up, their faces flushed with awkwardness as they mumbled something about forgetting. Forgetting? Please. We don't forget the people we value. This kind of exclusion is rarely accidental. It's passive-aggressive cowardice, a quiet way of saying, "You're not part of this." And here's where Stoicism comes in. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This applies not just to our actions, but to the people we allow into our lives. If their actions don't align with truth or respect, why waste another second on them? People who exclude you without explanation are showing you their priorities. Don't excuse their behavior or convince yourself it's unintentional. When someone values you, they make sure you feel included. If they don't, they're telling you where you stand, loud and clear. Here's the Stoic lesson. Don't beg for a seat at a table where your presence isn't wanted. Epictetus teaches us, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Your worth doesn't diminish because a group fails to see it. If anything, their exclusion highlights their lack of integrity, not yours. So what do? You don't chase, you don't plead, and you don't let their indifference define you. Instead, you focus on the people who make space for you without hesitation. Value the relationships that reflect your worth, and walk away from the ones that don't. Life's too short to stand in the shadow of people who only dim your light. Take a step back, reassess, and remember, their exclusion isn't your rejection. It's their failure to appreciate what you bring to the table. Number 4, they're always busy. When it comes to you, let's not sugarcoat it. When someone is always too busy to make time for you, it's not about their schedule. It's about their priorities. If they have time for others but can't seem to squeeze you in, they're sending a clear message. You're not a priority. I've been there. I remember reaching out to someone I considered a close friend, trying to set up a simple coffee catch-up. Every time the response was the same, "I'm swamped. Maybe next week?" Meanwhile, their social media told a different story. Photos of dinners, hangouts, and parties, just not with me. The truth hit me like a ton of bricks. They weren't too busy, they were just too busy for me. Here's where Stoicism cuts through the noise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Their behavior is an outside event. You can't change how they prioritize their time, but you can change how you react to it. And here's how you should react. Stop chasing. Stop excusing their behavior with, "They're probably overwhelmed." No one is too busy for the people they care about. When someone wants to make time for you, they will. Period. But here's the deeper lesson. Their inability to prioritize you doesn't diminish your value. Epictetus reminds us, know what you can control and what you cannot. You can't control their choices, but you can control whether or not you continue to pursue a one-sided relationship. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anyone who keeps you as an afterthought. So what should you do? Pay attention to the patterns. If they're constantly too busy, it's time to reassess. Life is too short to waste on people who only make time for you when it's convenient for them. Surround yourself with those who value your presence and show it through their actions. Remember this, your worth isn't measured by someone else's calendar. If they don't prioritize you, don't make the mistake of prioritizing them. Walk away with your dignity intact and let them realize, too late perhaps, that their excuses cost them someone irreplaceable. Number 5, they avoid physical contact like you're contagious. Let's not sugarcoat it. Physical contact is one of the most basic ways we connect as humans. A handshake, a pat on the back, a hug. These gestures communicate warmth, trust, and closeness. So when someone goes out of their way to avoid even the smallest touch, they're telling you something loud and clear. I'm uncomfortable around you. I've experienced this firsthand. There was someone I worked with who would recoil every time I extended a hand for a simple handshake. At first I thought maybe they just weren't a touchy person, but then I noticed they were perfectly comfortable with others, smiling, laughing, even hugging people in the same room. When it came to me though, it was like I was carrying a disease. The message was unmistakable. They wanted distance, both physical and emotional. Here's where Stoicism helps us decode this. Marcus Aurelius teaches us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Their avoidance isn't about you, it's about them. Maybe it's insecurity, jealousy, or something else entirely, but their actions shouldn't dictate your self-worth. You can't control their behavior, but you can control how much power you give it. Avoiding physical contact isn't just awkward, it's a boundary they're deliberately setting. Respect that boundary, but don't let it define how you see yourself. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Instead of letting their rejection chip away at your confidence, take it as a signal to focus on relationships that don't make you feel like a leper. So what do? Don't chase after their approval or try to force closeness. If someone is intentionally creating distance, respect it, but don't internalize it. Their discomfort doesn't diminish your value. The takeaway? Life is too short to dwell on people who shrink away from you. Surround yourself with those who welcome your presence without hesitation, who see you, appreciate you, and make you feel at ease. You deserve connections built on trust and mutual respect, not ones where you're constantly wondering why they flinch at your touch. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius says, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Don't let their actions poison your peace. Accept the reality, let go of their rejection, and move forward with your head held high. Their avoidance speaks volumes about them, not about you. 6. They disappear when you need support. When the chips are down, you quickly learn who's really in your corner. It's easy for people to stick around when life is sunshine and celebrations, but when you're in the trenches, facing heartbreak, loss, or failure, some people vanish. And let's be honest, it's not because they're too busy or didn't know how to help, it's because they don't care enough to show up. I've been there. I remember going through one of the hardest times in my life, reaching out to people I thought were my closest friends. I didn't ask for much, just a text, a phone call, a little acknowledgement that I wasn't alone. But instead of support, I got excuses. Work's been crazy, or, sorry, I've been meaning to check in. Spoiler, they never did. Their silence spoke volumes. Here's where Stoicism cuts through the hurt. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have to assemble your life yourself, action by action. Life will hand you challenges, and people will let you down. What matters isn't their absence, but how you respond to it. Their betrayal is outside your control. Your resilience isn't. The harsh truth is that some people are only there for the good times. They'll laugh with you, party with you, and bask in your successes. But the moment life gets messy, they're nowhere to be found. These are what the Stoics would call fair-weather companions. They aren't your real friends. They're passengers in your life, and it's time to let them off the ride. Epictetus said it best. It is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. When someone disappears during your darkest moments, Don't take it as a reflection of your worth. Their absence is about their weakness, not your value. So what do? You let them go. Don't beg for their support or waste energy wondering why they weren't there. Instead, focus on building relationships with people who do show up. Those who stand by you, not because it's convenient, but because they genuinely care. And here's the ultimate Stoic takeaway. Adversity is a filter. It reveals the true nature of your relationships, stripping away the superficial and leaving behind the solid. Use that filter wisely. Surround yourself with people who are steady in the storm, not just basking in your sunshine. Because as Marcus Aurelius said, what stands in the way becomes the way. Their absence might hurt, but it also clears the path for you to invest in connections that truly matter. 7. They gossip about you behind your back. There's nothing more gut-wrenching than finding out someone you trusted has been talking behind your back. Gossip is a silent assassin. It creeps into your relationships, destroys trust, and leaves you wondering who else knows your vulnerabilities. Let's not sugarcoat it. When someone spreads rumors or twists your words, they're not just hurting your reputation, they're showing you they have zero respect for you. I've been there. I once confided in someone I considered a close friend, sharing something deeply personal during a rough time. A few days later, I started hearing whispers. My private pain had been turned into public entertainment, twisted into exaggerated versions of itself. The betrayal was like a dagger. And when I confronted Daf, I didn't mean any harm. I was just venting. But let's be real. Gossip is never harmless. Here's where Stoicism brings clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like your enemy." Gossiping back, seeking revenge, or letting their betrayal consume you won't bring you peace. Instead, it's a chance to rise above. Their actions say everything about them and nothing about you. Gossip is a power play. People gossip because it makes them feel bigger by making you seem smaller. It's cowardly, manipulative, and frankly, pathetic. As Epictetus wisely put it, who is to be the master of your mind, someone else or yourself? Letting their words define you is handing over your power. You don't have to play their game. So, what do? First, recognize the gossip for what it is, a reflection of their insecurities, not your worth. Second, set boundaries. If they can't respect your trust, they don't deserve your friendship. And third, don't let their actions poison your peace. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Life is too short to waste on people who undermine you behind your back while smiling to your face. True connections are built on trust and respect, not whispers and lies. Walk away from those who can't respect your integrity and focus on building relationships that lift you higher. The ultimate Stoic message: what stands in the way becomes the way. Their gossip might sting, but it also clears your path. It frees you from people who don't deserve a place in your life. Let their betrayal be your liberation and move forward with dignity, wisdom, and strength. My dear friend, we've just journeyed through the 7 signs that someone doesn't like you but is hiding it. It's a bitter truth, isn't it? Recognizing these signs can be painful, not just for you but for me and anyone sitting here, reflecting on their own experiences. But let me remind you, especially when it comes to social relationships, those we call friendships, there's a deeper truth we must face. True friendship, as the Stoics would teach us, is rooted in virtue. It's a relationship built on mutual respect, honesty, and moral integrity. Epictetus reminds us of this core truth. Virtue is the only good, and everything else is insignificant. This is the Stoic standard for relationships. They should elevate your soul, not burden it with trivial distractions or petty conflicts. Ask yourself, how many of your relationships meet this standard? How many of your friends truly inspire you to grow, to think clearly, to act rightly? Or have you surrounded yourself with people who erode your peace, manipulate your kindness, or hinder your progress? These questions aren't meant to shame you. They're meant to wake you up. Friendship isn't about filling your life with people for the sake of numbers. It's about the quality of the relationships you allow to shape you. So take a moment to reflect on the circle around you. What do those relationships say about the meaning of your life, your values, and your priorities? The Stoics often said, "Show me the 5 people you spend the most time with." and I'll show you who you are. Who are your 5? Do they reflect the person you strive to be, or the person you're trying to leave behind? Thank you for being here with me until this moment. If this message resonated with your heart, I invite you to support and subscribe to this channel. After all, I call you my friend for a reason, because we're on this journey together, learning, growing, and striving to live a life shaped by virtue. To the incredible friends who lift us up, thank you. To those who hold us back, perhaps it's time to let them go.